Imagine a life where you embrace your vulnerabilities, and you see them not as weaknesses but as strengths. A life where being imperfect is not a flaw, but a gift. Does it sound like a dream? Well, it's not. It's the reality that Brené Brown introduces us to in her enlightening book, The Gifts of Imperfection. Brené Brown, a celebrated researcher and thought leader, unravels the beauty of imperfections in this book. She invites us into a world where we can accept our flaws and vulnerabilities, not as hindrances, but as stepping stones towards becoming our authentic selves. The central theme of the book revolves around embracing our imperfections and making peace with our vulnerabilities. It's about acknowledging our fears, our insecurities, and our flaws, and using them as catalysts for growth and self-realization. Are you ready to explore the beauty in your imperfections? Then let's dive into the chapters. Chapter 1 of the book begins with a powerful statement. I am enough. This simple yet profound assertion sets the tone for the rest of the journey that Brené Brown takes us on in her book, The Gifts of Imperfection. Now let's dive a bit deeper into this chapter. The central theme here is the importance of self-love and acceptance. Brené Brown introduces us to the concept of wholehearted living, a way of engaging with the world from a place of worthiness. She encourages us to cultivate the courage, compassion, and connection to wake up in the morning and think, no matter what gets done and how much is left undone, I am enough. The author underscores the significance of embracing our imperfections. She doesn't sugarcoat it. She acknowledges that it's challenging, sometimes painful, to face our flaws, but she also emphasizes that it's necessary. It's about accepting that we are imperfect. We are wired for struggle, but we are also worthy of love and belonging. Brené Brown pushes us to see our imperfections not as weaknesses, but as unique strengths. She challenges the notion that perfection is the path to happiness. Instead, she argues that acknowledging our imperfections can lead to a more fulfilling life. It's about owning our stories, loving ourselves through the process, and embracing our vulnerabilities. This chapter is a call to let go of who we think we're supposed to be and embrace who we are. It's about letting go of the exhausting pursuit of perfectionism to focus on being authentic. It's about understanding that our worthiness, our value, is not tied to how perfect we are, but to our courage to be imperfect. So in essence, this chapter is a guide to self-acceptance. It's about understanding that it's okay to have flaws, to make mistakes, to be vulnerable. It's about realizing that our imperfections do not make us inadequate. They make us human. This chapter reminds us that our imperfections are not our inadequacies. They are reminders of our individuality. In the second chapter, Brené Brown takes us on a journey to understand the power of vulnerability. We often associate vulnerability with feelings of fear and uncertainty. We tend to see it as a sign of weakness, something to be avoided at all costs. But Brené Brown challenges this notion. She argues that vulnerability is not a weakness but a strength. It's a sign of courage, authenticity, and the willingness to embrace our own imperfections. Brown explains that being vulnerable means allowing ourselves to be seen, truly seen, in all our messy, imperfect glory. It means exposing our fears, our doubts, our failures, and yes, even our successes. It's about showing up and being real, being genuine, and being brave enough to let others see us as we are, not as we think they want us to be. She teaches us that vulnerability is the birthplace of creativity, innovation, and change. It's where we find the courage to take risks, to step out of our comfort zones, and to try new things. It's where we learn to trust ourselves and others, to connect on a deeper level, and to live a more authentic life. Brown also emphasizes that vulnerability is not about oversharing or exposing ourselves to unnecessary harm. It's about opening up to those who have earned the right to hear our story, those who will respect and honor our experiences. She encourages us to embrace vulnerability, to lean into it, to let it guide us in our relationships, our work, our dreams. She reminds us that it's okay to be scared, to be uncertain, to make mistakes. It's okay to be human. Through her research, Brown has discovered that vulnerability is at the core of many of the emotions and experiences that define what it means to be human. Love, belonging, joy, empathy, and creativity. Without vulnerability, these experiences would not exist. So, the next time you find yourself shrinking back from a moment of vulnerability, remember Brené Brown's words. Embrace it, lean into it, let it be your guide. Brown makes it clear that vulnerability is not a liability, but a path to a more authentic and fulfilling life. Chapter 3 introduces us to the concept of resilience. Imagine resilience as a spring. The more we compress it, the more energy it stores. When released, it doesn't just return to its original shape. It catapults forward with a force. In life, the compression represents our hardships, setbacks, and obstacles. The stored energy, that's resilience. Brené Brown paints a vivid picture of resilience in the 3rd chapter of her enlightening book, The Gifts of Imperfection. Resilience, as she explains, is the ability to adapt and thrive amidst adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant stress. It's not about avoiding these challenges. They're an inevitable part of life. It's about learning, growing, and yes, even flourishing in their wake. So how do we cultivate this resilience? Brown's research suggests that it's built through a combination of factors: resourcefulness, seeking help when needed, a belief in oneself and one's abilities, and the acceptance of reality. Notably, she also highlights the role of hope. Not hope as a passive wish, but as an active practice, believing that our efforts can improve our circumstances. Importantly, resilience is not a trait that people either have or do not have. It involves behaviors, thoughts, and actions that can be learned and developed by anyone. Brown encourages us to see resilience as a metaphorical muscle, one that strengthens with exercise. It's through facing our struggles head-on rather than avoiding or denying them that we build this muscle. Furthermore, resilience is not just about survival. It's about allowing ourselves to be transformed by the trials we face. It's about using our adversities as a springboard to bounce forward, to come out stronger and wiser on the other side. It's about learning to dance with the chaos of life, to turn our stumbling blocks into stepping stones. So, as we traverse the winding paths of our lives, let us remember to cultivate this resilience. Let us face our challenges not with fear, but with courage and grace, growing through what we go through. As Brené Brown puts it, resilience is not about bouncing back, but bouncing forward. In the 4th chapter, Brown delves into the powerful connection between joy and gratitude. She presents us with an intriguing idea that these two emotions are not just related, but are deeply intertwined. Joy, as Brown describes it, is not a constant state of happiness or a perpetual high. Rather, it's a fleeting emotion, a momentary burst of positivity that can be as transient as the blink of an eye. But here's the thing, these moments of joy, no matter how fleeting, are not random or unattainable. They can be cultivated. And the key to cultivating them, according to Brown, is gratitude. Gratitude, she argues, is not just a reaction to joy, but rather, it's the precursor to it. It's the spark that lights the fire of joy within us. Gratitude, in its simplest form, is an appreciation for what we have. It's a recognition of the good in our lives, no matter how small or inconsequential it may seem. It's the warm cup of coffee on a cold morning, the unexpected compliment from a colleague, the comfort of a favorite book. By consciously acknowledging and appreciating these moments, we invite joy into our lives. Brown encourages us to practice gratitude daily, not just when things are going well, but also when they aren't, especially when they aren't. Because it's in these moments of struggle that gratitude can truly shine, illuminating our path with sparks of joy. She suggests keeping a gratitude journal, writing down the moments, no matter how small, for which we are grateful. This practice, she says, can help us to not only recognize these moments, but to seek them out, to create them. It's a way of training our minds to focus on the positive, to find the silver lining, to cultivate joy. But perhaps the most beautiful thing about joy and gratitude is that they are contagious. By cultivating them within ourselves, we can spread them to others, creating a ripple effect of positivity and happiness. Remember, it's not happiness that brings us gratitude, but gratitude that brings us happiness. Chapter 5 takes us on a journey to authenticity. In Brené Brown's 5th chapter of The Gifts of Imperfection, she invites us to explore the concept of authenticity. Now, what does it really mean to be authentic? It's not about being perfect or having it all together. Rather, it's about embracing our imperfections and allowing ourselves to be seen as we truly are. Brown emphasizes that living an authentic life is not a one-time decision, but a continuous process. It's about making conscious choices every day to be genuine, to be honest, and to be true to ourselves. It's not always easy. It requires courage and vulnerability, but the rewards, they are immeasurable. Authenticity, according to Brown, plays a crucial role in our overall well-being. When we live authentically, we give ourselves the freedom to express our true feelings, desires, and beliefs. We allow ourselves to experience life in its fullness, unencumbered by the need to conform or to put on a facade. But why is it so important? Well, living authentically helps us build genuine connections with others. When we show up as our real selves, we allow others to do the same. This authenticity fosters deeper, more meaningful relationships. It helps us feel seen, understood, and valued for who we truly are. Moreover, authenticity can help us find purpose and direction in life. By being true to ourselves, we can align our actions with our values and passions. This alignment can guide us towards pursuits that truly fulfill us, giving our lives a sense of purpose and meaning. And lastly, living authentically can bring us inner peace. When we stop trying to be what others expect us to be, we quiet the internal conflict within us. We can find comfort in knowing that we are enough, just as we are. So let's take a page out of Brown's book and strive to live authentically. Let's make the choice every day to show up and be real, to embrace our imperfections and let our true selves shine. As Brown says, authenticity is a collection of choices that we make every day. It's the choice to show up and be real. In the final chapter, Brown ties it all together. The culmination of Brené Brown's insightful exploration in The Gifts of Imperfection is a beautifully orchestrated symphony of the various themes we've delved into. Embracing imperfections, accepting vulnerability, cultivating resilience, and practicing gratitude. Each of these components, like individual notes, come together to create a harmonious melody that resonates with the rhythm of a fulfilling and authentic life. Brown urges us to recognize and appreciate our imperfections. They are not blemishes to be hidden away, but unique features that define us. They make us human, and it's through acknowledging these imperfections that we can truly embrace who we are. After all, there is beauty in imperfection, a kind of raw authenticity that can't be replicated. Then there's vulnerability. It's often seen as a sign of weakness, but Brown flips this notion on its head. Vulnerability, she argues, is a strength. It takes courage to expose ourselves, to risk hurt and rejection. But it's in these moments of vulnerability that we find genuine connections and profound understanding. Resilience, too, plays a crucial role. Life's journey isn't always smooth sailing. There will be storms and choppy seas, but it's our ability to weather these challenges, to rise each time we fall, that shapes our character and fortifies our spirit. Resilience isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving despite adversity. Finally, Brown emphasizes the importance of joy and gratitude. In a world where we're constantly chasing more, she invites us to pause, look around, and appreciate what we already have. It's in these moments of gratitude that we find joy, a deep, resonating happiness that goes beyond fleeting pleasure. So the essence of The Gifts of Imperfection is this: embrace your flaws, be vulnerable, cultivate resilience, and practice gratitude. In doing so, you're not just living, you're thriving authentically and wholeheartedly. So there you have it, folks. The Gifts of Imperfection is not just a book, it's a roadmap to a more authentic and fulfilling life. So, what have we learned today from Brené Brown's The Gifts of Imperfection? Well, quite a lot, I must say. We've taken a deep dive into the world of imperfections, understanding that they are not flaws, but rather gifts. These gifts remind us of our unique humanity, and they encourage us to embrace ourselves just as we are. We delved into the power of vulnerability, recognizing it is not a sign of weakness, but rather a testament to our strength. It's about having the courage to show up and be seen even when we have no control over the outcome. Vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's giving ourselves the permission to feel, to dare, to fail, and to then rise again. We also explored the significance of resilience, acknowledging that it's not about bouncing back, but growing through our experiences. It's about cultivating a mindset that allows us to navigate life's ups and downs without losing sight of who we are. The importance of joy and gratitude was another key point. We learned that these are not just fleeting emotions, but conscious choices we make every day. They are the anchors that keep us grounded in the present moment, enabling us to appreciate the simple pleasures of life. We journeyed through the path of authenticity, realizing that it's not about fitting in, but standing out. Authenticity is about owning our story, honoring our truth, and expressing ourselves freely without the fear of judgment. Finally, we summed up our exploration with the understanding that perfection is not the goal. Instead, we should strive for courage, authenticity, and self-compassion. As we wrap up, let's keep these lessons close to our hearts. Let's strive to be kinder to ourselves, to embrace our imperfections, to be vulnerable, to be resilient, to be grateful, and to be authentic. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about being brave, authentic, and above all, being you. Because in the end, that's all that matters.